It's nice to finally meet you. I know we exchanged some emails earlier this week, but it's great to see you face to face. So you were here yesterday, correct? Okay, great. Is this your second day of training then? No, it's your first day. You just had the orientation yesterday? Okay. Great. Well, as it's your first day of training, today I'm just going to have you watch me, and tomorrow for your second day of training, we're going to have you practice on some of our different shoes that we have, okay? Yeah, your application is great, but I know this is your first time working in a shoe shine, shoe cleaning kind of place, so I'm going to go through the basics with you. Now, we're not a traditional, high-end shoe shine place that you might find in the city. We're a little more rustic here. We like to use more natural products, no harsh chemicals. And once you see our tools, you might laugh a bit, but they're nothing high-end. They're just everyday sort of tools you can find around the house. Some of them look a little worn down, but a lot of the shoes that we work with are used and refurbished shoes or antique shoes. So using a brand new product every time just doesn't really make sense. All right, well, settle down, get comfortable, and why don't I show you some of the shoes we're working on today and some of the products we'll be using to clean them. So I thought we'd start out pretty simple and go over 4 different types of shoes, okay? The first are these boots. As you can see, they're pretty worn down. They've got some cracking in the middle or down the front end. These are from a client who brings us a lot of her worn down boots, and she just likes them to be spruced up a little bit. But it's made from a pleather material, and it's got this great buckle, as you can see. And the buckle is just decorative. It's sort of ornamental, okay? It has no actual use. The second pair of shoes are these black work shoes. They are once again made from a pleather material. They have a buckle as well. Once again, just decorative, kind of ornamental. These are from the same client. Now they're in a little bit in better condition, but as you can see, there's still nothing fancy, just ordinary black work shoes. Okay. The next pair are these heels. These are from a different client, and these are once again a faux leather, a sort of shiny latex pleather kind of shoe. You can see that shine on it, can't you? These are Comfort Plus, so even though they have a little bit of a heel to them, they're fairly comfortable as well. They're a lovely nude color, so we're just going to polish these up. You can see the heel has some light scratches and a little bit of wear and tear on them, but we're just going to polish those up a little bit today. Okay, let me put those down. Lastly, we have these sneakers. This is from one of our older clients who does a lot of housework, outdoor work, but she likes really comfortable sneakers. She really likes wearing these black pair because a lot of her work is outdoors. And these are not too, she wears them fairly often, but she takes good care of them. You can see they're not too worn or anything. They have these laces. These aren't too dirty. This will be real quick. 1, 2, 3. The materials are once again synthetic. Generally, we don't get a lot of non-synthetic materials in here. But as you can see, there is some plastic or kind of pleathery type materials and some fabric as well. Great. All right, so let me show you some of the tools we're working with, and please try not to laugh when you see them. The first is just a regular old crusty sponge. I like to call it that. It's pretty worn down. We're probably due for a new one, but sometimes the more you wear down one of these sponges, just the better they work. We have our gold jug of water and natural dish soap, or I call it dish soap, but really it's a soap made for shoes. And I just have that right in here. And then this sponge, as you can see, it is a bit on the dry side, so we're gonna hydrate that, and it's a little worn, but it's really a good quality sponge. We've had this one for a few months, and we're probably due for a new one, but it works pretty well. So I'm just going to let that start to hydrate. Drop that right in and let it, you can see already as it starts to fill up with liquid. We have this brush right here. It has some really good bristles on it, as you can see. It's got this great handle, and this is for larger shoes and really getting into large areas to get off any caked on grime, dirt, any mud that really needs a good scrubbing to come off. These are really ideal for that. Lastly, I knew you were going to laugh. Don't worry, this isn't anyone's current toothbrush. This is just a one we purchased specifically for our shoe shop, but it really works so much better than a lot of those fancy shoe shining kind of tools, you know? Yeah, and this is really literally just a toothbrush, but it really helps you get into all those little nooks and crannies that are difficult to reach. It really gets out all that dirt and grime to leave the shoe nicely polished. All right, so last but not least, we have this 7th generation all-purpose natural cleaner. Now this is very natural. You can see it's mostly full. You only need a little bit. A little goes a long way. And it's great because it's so natural that we find it really doesn't affect the shoe regardless of the material. It doesn't break down any of the natural fibers of the shoe or materials. So this is one of our best products to use. Now, while everything we use is very natural and free of most chemicals, it's always good to wear some protective gloves when you're working on these shoes, just because you don't want to get all the dirt and grime on your hands. Of course, you'll wash them, but having the gloves on, that's just what we recommend. And you will have your own gloves, have your initials will write on them, and those will be your work gloves. You can leave them here. Most people tend to. You can also bring them home with you and clean them at home, but please, 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 if you bring them home, remember to bring them in when you're working. We only have one spare set of work gloves, and it just doesn't look very good upon you if you forget your gloves and you need to use those. So, we do pay attention to things like that. And your first week here, you will be sort of on a probation, so you're going to want to be on top of that, okay? Great. So I'm just going to get these gloves right on. They're a little sticky from the last time I did our shoe shining. I had a big order in last week, so as you can see, they are very sticky, these gloves. See how they just kind of stick? And that's good. You want them to have a little bit of stick and grip to them. It's going to help you hold the shoe better and really get in there without it getting slippery and falling out of your hands. Alrighty, so you ready to get started? So let's start with our first boot. right here. And I'm going to go in with our sponge, which is fully hydrated now. Squeeze out all the extra liquid, okay? Just put that aside. Put that over here. We're going to use the soft side of the sponge, and we're just going to wipe it down, okay? First, you just do a gentle wipe through. Next, we're going to take our bristly brush and give it a really gentle scrub, okay? Looks pretty good. You can already see, I mean, just look at the difference between this boot and this boot, right? Now let's go in for more of the details, all right? We'll take our spray, okay? I'm going to give it a very gentle spray. Okay. We're going to go in with our detail brush. And we're just going to really get in there, okay? And get in the little nooks and crannies. Because this material is little folds, you're going to want to get in there as well. Really get in that buckle area, okay? Like it's a little dry here, so let's do another spray, okay? Great. Let's go in with our little detail brush. Now I'm going to take the sponge again and gently wipe off any excess product that's on there. Look how nice and shiny that boot is, huh? I mean, obviously there's still a little bit of that overuse and ribbing that's going to happen here. But generally, I mean, that's pretty nice and shiny, huh? Let's compare the two. Look at that difference. It's pretty quick and easy work. What's that? Okay. Well, you know, I heard some really good things about your orientation, and I loved your resume. So, yeah, if you want to cut down your training days, if you'd like, I will show you the shoes, and then you can do it yourself afterwards, okay? Okay, I'm taking a risk on you, so I'll let the front desk know that you won't be doing training day tomorrow. In that case, You see how nice this shoe looks? For your second day of training, which we're going to do today, you will be doing the other shoe, okay? So I expect you to get this shoe to look as nice as this one, all right? Okay, I'm going to put these aside, all right? This will be yours that you have to do when we're done. Okay, let's move on to the next shoe, all right? We got this one right here. So we're going to start out just as we did before, and I'm going to go in and submerge this into our little mixture again. You'll want to do this between each shoe and definitely between every pair of shoes, but you'll definitely do it for every single shoe as well. Okay, great. Once again, just a gentle wiping to start, all right? It's going to loosen up any dust and dirt that's been really caked on there, okay? Alrighty. That looks good. Let's go in with our big brush. We're going to gently buff this, okay? This shoe isn't as dirty, so we're able to go through it a little quicker. Just a gentle spray for this one, and let's go in with the details, okay? Especially right in the buckle. And there's a little strap, so make sure you get underneath the strap. Go through and wipe off all of the excess product. And this should give it a really nice shine and look to it. Beautiful. Just look at that result. Look how shiny that is. Now, of course, when it dries, it'll be a little less shiny, but that's fine. Unless the customer requests for a very shiny finish, you don't have to worry about it. In that case, we have a special chemical compound for that, but we try to stay clear of chemicals. So let's just compare the two. This is the one we just shined, and this is the one you'll be shining in a little bit. So you can kind of see the result that you're looking for, okay? Move on to our next shoe, okay? So here we have our lovely, lovely heels. This is a beautiful color. I love nude heels. Now this is a slightly different material, but we're still going to treat it the same way. So first things first. Let's submerge our sponge. Just let it sit for a moment. I'm happy to see you're taking notes. That's very important. So once again, let's just really make sure we get that shoe nice and wet and wipe off any of the large parts of dirt. Okay. Now, we're going to go very gentle because of the material of the shoe, okay? a real gentle buffing here. Okay, and just a little spray. And let's just go in there and just kind of buff that material. This shoe wasn't very dirty in the first place, so it won't take too much effort. Make sure you get into every little crevice though, okay? Now some of this part looks like dirt, but it's actually just worn down, okay? So there's not much we can do about that. Great. Let's just wipe that down now. Doesn't that look so nice and glossy? Now, the shoe was already in pretty good condition. This is the other one. But you can see a slight difference. This one's a little more glossy. And when you look at the heel of this one compared to the heel of that one, you can see the difference. So let's put that aside. Okay, last but certainly not least, we have our sneakers. So with this one, we're actually not going to use the sponge, nor are we going to use our scrubber, okay? This shoe has a bit of a fabric material, so we're going to be very careful, and we're just going to use our scrubber, okay? So instead of using our spray, we're just going to dip our mini scrubber into our liquid, shake off any excess, and we're going to be really careful with this one, okay? I'm going to start in the back and use gentle circles. We're just going to make sure we scrub really well all the parts that are just sort of a more plasticky, leathery material, okay? We don't want to get the fabric. And if you need a little more liquid, just dip in again, okay? Let's make sure we get this side, bottom, okay? Sort of a rubber material. Really put a little elbow grease in there, okay? You want to make sure you get out all the grime. Just get the brush a little wet again. I've been running the shop now for about 5 years. It's passed down to me by my aunt, and I really do enjoy running the shop and working here. It's very therapeutic work. Alright, now that I've scrubbed all those parts, this is just a little gentle blow on it. we let it air dry, okay? We don't use the sponge for this. And once again, you can see the difference, the parts that were shined compared to the one that hasn't been yet. You can see how much cleaner that looks. So just let this one air dry. And that's basically it for our little demo today. I'm happy to see you took notes, and I know partially you just want to get on the clock right away, but I do appreciate that you're just going to jump in and do your second day of training today right now. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you treat the other shoes. It's really fairly simple work, but it's good to have a good eye and be really meticulous and detail orientated, which, like I said, from your resume, I had some really good feelings about you. So I'm going to let you get to work. Let me just, since you're still training and you don't have your own gloves yet, you can use mine, that's okay. Once you're officially on payroll, we will have gloves for you. There you go. So I'll let you get all set up at the workstation. I'll be watching you, but I'm not going to be hovering, so don't be too nervous. And if you have any questions, you're still training, please feel free to ask. Great. Well, thank you for coming in, okay? Good luck.